Hi and welcome to another Peter Vaughan seminar on numerology. This particular seminar that I'm doing here is not necessarily about numerology or the numbers or the alphabet, but what it has a lot to do with are the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s that we use today to think with. Now, how that actually happens, I have in another seminar in this series, but here what I'm talking about, and I'm going to show you what I mean by the parts of this little diagram I've created. This is, by the way, Peter Vaughan's art. It's out of my mind. I'm amazing, I know. But over here, where the baby's ear is, I've got sound waves coming out. And these sound waves represent basically what the baby is hearing, so it's not necessarily going out, it's what's coming in. And I put sound up there. But baby also with the eye here, and I've got waves of light coming out of here or coming to the child. So sight waves coming in and sound waves coming in. I've also got touch here because these waves of energy are physically touching the baby. Now can you imagine that here you are in the womb and you pop out, you've come from a very warm, comfortable environment. Once you're exposed to that hospital atmosphere, the temperature drops drastically. You're all wet, you'll start to the moisture will evaporate off your body and you'll start to feel cold. Instantly, the baby starts to recognize and does not know why, but the temperature is changing around the child. And therefore that's a sensation that the baby registers in the brain as a change of environment for it. Baby comes out and they're sitting there and they've got a name for the child. They start calling that baby. Let's just say that the baby boy's name is Bob. And they go, "Hi Bob," or Robert. They might call him Robert because that's the name they want for baby, Robert. Yes, my father was called Robert. He was a fine, upstanding bastard. So we've got Robert here. And we say, Robert, "Hi Robert, Robert." Not really a bastard. "Robert, Robert." And they're cuddling Robert, they're loving Robert, and then mum's feeding Robert this way or that way. But baby is getting attention, sound attention. When their eyes are starting to see, apart from just shades and colours and blurry moving objects, and their eyes become more focusable, the baby starts to look at specific items. Baby is starting to take information in to its brain. And these little purple paths that I put on the brain up here are not curlers. This child has not curlers in its brain or bugs. I'm representing things such as cerebral cortex, where the child starts to focus and understand, not at this early age, but understand that there's an environment, that there's moving objects. They just see these things and respond or react to them. You've got, your ears will cross over in the brain and actually affect either side of your head. You might have even noticed at some stages in your life, you get these high-pitched ringing tones in your ears. You may not get them, but a lot of people do. And that's to do with the way in which the brain is actually internally affecting the eardrum, and some people call it tinnitus, but it's not always tinnitus. At the back of the brain here, on the other side, around the back of your head here, where your eyes cross over, everything gets reversed upside down and your brain sees all the incoming information through what's coming through here. So your sight, sound, taste, touch and smell, harmonics, frequencies or vibrations that come to you are nothing more than what's coming in, and eventually the brain starts to learn from that. And by being called Robert all the time, the baby starts to understand that that sound, not the word, the sound of Robert, seems to be drawn to the baby every time you're nearby. When you're feeding, when it's crying, changing baby's nappies, or getting somebody else to do it. But the name Robert will always be impressed upon the child and starts to realise, hey, I must be Robert. It doesn't think that, it just knows that Robert is my sound, or the sound that I seem to hear a lot when they're around me. So a baby, therefore, starts to understand that the image of the mother, the people, the environment around a child goes in, it's recorded in the brain. If it feels safe, baby feels safe, it's a sensation in the body. Sight comes in, baby sees all of that, feels all of that, hears all of that, touching all of that. Baby becomes an instrument of learning. And after a while, of course, we can end up speaking a little bit like me, or you, or anybody else you might know. The wonderful thing about it, though, is, and this is something that I have found in numerology, the study of, that not many other people really recognise. If a name equals a sound, it becomes your identity. Your feelings are the foundations of your emotion, which is energy in motion. Wouldn't it be neat to say, oh, I'd really like my child to be like this, or I'd really like my child to be like that, to have musical traits like his grandfather, or to have artistic flair, or to be a business person, a scientist maybe. Wonderful thing here, by giving a Navy, try a Navy if you like, but by giving, it's a baby born from the Navy. When you have a baby being born and you give it a name, that name that you give the Navy, the child, actually causes the child to vibrate to a specific pattern of 1 to 9 groups that people have in their life. For a person to have the name vibration to attract finances into their life, they need to belong to group number 6. It is the most common group where money comes naturally to these people. Now, you might think, hey, how does that happen? Or how does that work? Well, I've done this for 31 years, and having done over 200,000 case studies, I've come up to the understanding of all of these group clusters through statistics and empirical data. So when you're looking at a new baby then, what you're looking at is input data coming to this child, generally in sight, sound and touch. I mean, when they're eating food, they don't get called Robert. The food's not Robert, it just tastes good and makes me feel good. So being fed, being called Robert makes this baby what it is. So the ABCs come later, because although Robert is a sound, we now use symbol form R-O-B-E-R-T from our alphabet to create the name Robert, which just happens to add up to number 6. Try this. Write down Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T. And under the letters of Robert, put under R, 9, under O, 6, under B, 2, under E, 5, under R, Robert, another 9, and under T, 2. And if you add those up, you'll find that you sum total it and sum total it, it will come to 6. Interesting. So when you shorten a name for a baby called Robert to Bob, you've changed that child's vibration. Be careful what you do when you name your child. That's what I'm here for. I've just helped save a baby's life, and I say help save it, by a baby that was named wrong at a hospital here in Auckland. The child's name did not match the baby's birth date and its makeup, or its parents, and the baby had a brain disorder. It was having a lot of fits and shakes, and a particular bad disease. Well, after we changed the baby's name, the symptoms of that child's situation disappeared, and they called it a miracle child. Go figure. Hey, that's fine. The thing is that by calling your baby the right name that fits the baby's birth date and appearance, you've got a scholar on your hands, irrespective of what field you like. Numerology encompasses this stuff, and I've been teaching this for some time now. But numerology is not what you see on the web. It's all about groups. It's understanding the science of who you are and who we are. Come and visit me on my website, petervaughan.net. One word, petervaughan.net. Looking forward to seeing you in my next seminar. Stick around. Thank you.